I'd definitely say it gave us some confidence, obviously, because it just hadn't been done in a while, and we went down there and had a hard fought game, and then came through with a win, and so I think that was important for us offensively, especially because we went from kind of being in a lull of not scoring touchdowns and having to kick field goals to where Saturday we did a better job of scoring when we got to the red zone, and that was really important moving forward just for our red zone offense. But it was just an exciting game. You know, it was exciting for our players. It was exciting for our coaches. My teammates, they did obviously did an incredible job of just fighting through and getting to the end of the game where they kind of we gave each other a chance and we continued to play for one another. And at the end of the game, it really didn't matter who had the ball. We just all wanted to score just for the team. And so that was important, and that's encouraging moving forward because we know we got a lot of guys that can handle that kind of moment, and obviously moving forward with our confidence, each guy has continued to build their own and get their own experience and then have their own confidence. And so moving forward for this game, I think it was important just to have that kind of win and go on the road and show ourselves that we can do it and play against a good football team and compete at a high level and come out with a win. And so after Penn State and then going to LSU and changing the result, it gave us a lot of confidence. But obviously at the same time, we have to prepare for a really good Georgia team, one of the better teams that we have faced, and obviously one of the better teams I've faced really in college. They have one of the best defenses that I've faced, and I mean the challenge is definitely there. But I think we're willing to accept it, and we just have to go out there and play clean and play for one another and just do whatever we can to compete until the final seconds and see how the game goes from there.
All right, our next question is from Steve Moulton.
Bo, appreciate the time here today. You mentioned it there with Georgia. What do you see as the biggest challenges that front seven does bring from Georgia?
I think one of the biggest reasons they're really successful is they're just obviously they're extremely talented players, but they're just kind of everywhere, and they have a lot of different fronts, a lot of different blitzes, a lot of different packages that they can play, and that probably presents the biggest issues for most teams. And we're going to have to do a good job of getting our eyes up and seeing things and communicating with one another, and then just playing our own version of football and doing what we're supposed to do. Whatever we're coached to do, we got to go out there and execute.
All right, Tom Green.
Hey, Bo. I know a couple weeks ago you had the shirts with the focused having fun, and then today I saw you had the Bo Nix experience one from the fourth down play against LSU. I guess just how involved are you in the process of those shirts, whether it's just approval or do you have any creative say, and what do you think of the one that came out today?
Well, you know, I really just have, I guess, the final approval just because it's my name, image, and likeness. But I didn't necessarily create many of those. It was just Breaking T, the company that my side is working with, and they did a good job of coming up with that kind of stuff. And they're obviously taking it and running with it. And I think they're doing a good job. And obviously, for the Focused Having Fun T-shirts, that one really, I was excited for it because of all the things that could come out from it, just with help from with Luke's dad and what that means to me and the football team, and then obviously Mercy Deliverance Ministries and just food insecurity. So that was exciting, and that's really the main reason why I was intrigued and excited to do it, just because of the benefit for others. But I think it's doing a good job, and it's kind of taking off, and it's just kind of fun on the side just for Auburn fans and for people just to kind of just remember the moments, and I think they're doing a good job just being creative and just seeing where things go.
All right, next is Bennett Durando.
Well, with that front seven, like you were talking about, how much is just sort of the size, the sheer size of those defensive linemen a factor? Do you sort of pay any attention to, the fact that you'll have a 340-pounder in Jordan Davis potentially coming at you, and just sort of how do you prepare for that sort of size?
I mean, that's a good question, but you can't really necessarily prepare for it because obviously there's not many 6'6", 350-pound guys walking around that you can just avoid all the time. But I'd say I kind of have not had experience, but I've kind of been there and played those kind of guys and been around and never necessarily had a huge issue with it and just continue to just play my own game and if they're in my way, just kind of run around them or something like that. And At the end of the day, we just got to do our best to block him, and he's going to get his plays. He's going to make his own plays, and that's why he's a good player, and he's going to be a great draft pick for somebody in the future. And obviously, there's no denying that. So we just have to limit the times he is making plays and do our job and put him in compromising positions and kind of make him beat us. Obviously, don't beat ourselves, and don't let him just or any of those guys necessarily have just free shots at us and coming through maybe rushing lanes or passing lanes and disrupting our plays. And so we just have to do a good job of playing clean, like I mentioned, and just doing our best to limit those guys as best as possible.
All right, Nathan King.
Hey, Bo, with the challenges like you talked about of Georgia's defensive front and the rest of their defense, how useful is it for you guys to have, the increased implementation of the tight ends in the passing game and the running backs? Just how much do you think that's going to help in this game?
I think it's huge because when a defense, no matter really how successful they are, when they have to cover all five guys and they have to be aware of where all five guys are at the same time, as well as just quarterback like elusiveness and quarterback runs and quarterback getting out the pocket. Obviously, it makes it tougher on a defense when they have to cover, I guess, six of us as opposed to just really three guys maybe out of the backfield. And so that's good and that's important. And I think that just adds an element to our offense that allows us to succeed. And it really helps us on like third down, I'd say, and just kind of it spreads out the call sheet for our coaches and it gives us options that we can work with. And so we're not necessarily like just limited to a few things.
All right, up next is Justin Lee.
Well, all season you guys have faced the storyline of going up to Whiteout at Happy Valley and the night game at Death Valley. Just how excited are you for Jordan Hare to kind of show his stuff in a rivalry game like this? And you even going back to you were in the stands as a young fan before you got here. Do you think Jordan Hare stacks up with the environment in college football, and just what would big home field advantage mean for you guys this week?
Yeah, that's a great question. Obviously, we did have great experiences up at Penn State and at LSU. I've played in some great atmospheres in the past as well. But it's really fun just to have a game like this, a rivalry game in Jordan-Hare Stadium. I remember the first year when we played Georgia. There in the second half, it got super loud, and then obviously the Alabama game was one of the loudest. And so I think that Auburn definitely compares and goes up against those other teams, that kind of the traditional historical ones that are known for being loud. I think Auburn's right there with them. I think it'll be interesting to see how Auburn shows up for this one. I think that it's important, obviously, for a home field advantage. And just when a team like Georgia, who's had great success and who's really good, and they're going to come in very well prepared, very well coached, and I think a home field advantage like Auburn would mean a lot for us as players. And I just think it could have a huge impact on our team and maybe the outcome of the game. And so just for Auburn fans to show up, it'd be much appreciated, and just being as loud as they can. Obviously, it provides that home field advantage. And I know from a quarterback standpoint how tough it can be communicating on the road. And so I think that if we can just do our part and just make their quarterback just confused and kind of disrupted, I think that'd be huge for us.
All right, up next is Mark Murphy.
Yeah, Bo, how much is Coach Harsh pushing you guys to get better as far as attention to detail and making sure take a step every week in practice?
It's at an all-time high. Obviously, he's relentless when it comes to coaching, and he's relentless when it comes to the details, because you can always get better at something, and he's making sure that we're seeing those things and working on those things. And it's really easy to be comfortable where you're at and not get any better, and just take how good you are and just continue to be the same. But as Coach Bobo says all the time, you're either getting better or getting worse. And so we just want to focus on getting better, and those little things that we can critique, and those little things that our coaches can harp on and just really encourage us to get better with. I think that's important for us as players to listen and pay close attention and try to fix those things, because at the end of the day, it'll just make us all better.
Thanks.
All right, up next is John Zener.
Yeah, I had a two-part. First, how many times did you watch that play to Tyler from?
Well, it's kind of everywhere, so I've seen it a few times. Obviously, from all the different angles, a bunch of different commentary. But I try to stay off social media, whether it's good or bad anyway. So, but I am just probably the most excited for Tyler, just the opportunity that he had. And now he was honored with being a captain this week, so I'm extremely excited for him. I know all the work he's put in, and just it's finally paying off for him. And he made an extremely important, valuable play for us on Saturday that people will honestly remember forever around here. And so I'm excited he was a part of it.
So what have the last 10 or 11 days been like for you personally? Because it seemed like it would have been an emotional roller coaster.
Can you say that again, please?
What have like the last 10 or 11 days been like for you? Because it seemed like it would have been an emotional roller coaster for anybody.
Yeah, it was a different situation. You know, coming out of the Georgia State game, nobody really knew what was going on, including me. But I just wanted to continue to focus and do what I was supposed to do to make myself better, along with making the team better. And so I just came back to work that Sunday, put work in, continued to prepare like I normally do. And obviously things were kind of heightened just because there was a lot of uncertainty, but that's just kind of part of football. And I think it just, no matter what kind of situation you're given in life, and just continue to pursue and push yourself to be better, regardless if you know the outcome or if you're uncertain of it. I think it's important just to continue to fight as a person and get better, and because you never know when your opportunity will come back. And I knew going in that I still had a chance to start. I probably would be the starter, and so I just needed to continue to prove that. And so during the game, had a good first few drives. Obviously, got behind in some field or in some like second downs, got behind the chains a little bit, and then knew TJ was going to come in, and he had a solid first drive going, and then it kind of with the turnover on downs, we didn't know necessarily what was next, and they told me I was going back in, and so I just wanted to go out there and compete and do whatever I had to do to win the game.
All right, we have time for a couple more. First from Bill Cameron.
Well, the Georgia defense has really been tough for everybody to run on. They really stuffed it pretty well, and you guys struggled a little early on until Jarquez popped a couple. But just talk about the importance, or how important you think it is to try to get something going on the ground, or to at least keep Georgia from just pinning their ears back and coming after you.
I think it's extremely vital. I think it's kind of the most important part of the game. I think that'll go to our success if we can run the ball and we can move the ball consistently on the ground. It'll open up other things in our offense, and obviously we just don't want to become one-dimensional. But just LSU game, we kind of got behind, and so we needed to throw the ball a little bit more, and saved our run plays for the end. And obviously when they got the chance, they ran the ball really well Saturday. So looking forward to Saturday and how we block them up, and just we know it's going to be a challenge, and we just got to believe we can go out there and do it. And then our running backs, like they always do, they're just going to go out there and run hard and see what happens.
All right, our last question is from Luciano Chatelain.
Hey, Bo, I hope you're doing well. Kind of a follow-up on that. This game against Georgia will have two of the best run defenses in the nation. Are you expecting a lot of weight to be put on the shoulders of both quarterbacks? And do you feel like you and your receivers are ready to take over this game?
Well, we're definitely going to have opportunities with one-on-one matchups, and we're going to be put in passing situations that we're going to have to go out there and make plays. I'm excited and confident that I'll go out there and be prepared and do whatever I can to play well, and do whatever I can to put our team in the best situation possible. Whether that's me running the ball, throwing the ball, making big plays, it doesn't matter. I'm excited for the opportunity. It's going to be a big, just important game for us. Obviously, it's going to be a great environment, fun atmosphere to play in, and it's kind of on us at this point to keep ourselves in the game and to focus and to do the little things correct so we can make it a 4-quarter game and hang in there with them. And obviously they've had some games where they've blown people out, and so that's definitely something they can do, and they're probably looking forward to that as well. But it'll be a good, fun football game. Obviously, it's one of the SEC's best, one of the greatest rivalries in college football, and it's just going to be a fun night.
All right, guys, thank you. That's it for Bo. We'll have Roger shortly.